Good evening and welcome to a brand new season of the America F1 series. I'm Tom Cairns, giving you the details for tonight's event. We're here for the first round of the new season. This is the Division 1 race. The championship itself last season was just the one division. We've had two divisions. We have two divisions for season 2. We had the Division 2 race last night. That was won by Jinstrov, who is also racing in the Division 1 race here this evening. So we're going to have a look on have a rundown on who is driving where. Sadly, Ben McEwen, who won last season's America F1 series, is not competing in season 2. So whatever happens, there will be a new champion by the end of season 2. Could it be Radicon, last season's runner-up? Could it be? I was just going to say, I almost said Noisy Boy there, but he changed his name during the season. Switchback, that's the name I was after. And or could it be Gamer James? We'll soon find out later on. Sunny conditions for qualifying. Will it be sunny conditions for the Bahrain Grand Prix? It's an 18-minute short qualifying session to determine the grid for the race. It'll be a 50% race distance one as well. So we have Radicon in the Mercedes, Sarli in the Renault, who made a few appearances last season, Angel, who did an appearance for Red Bull at Spa in season 1. We've got Ray, who also stays at Red Bull for this one. Tilwick remains at Haas. SDQ fills in at McLaren. We've got Aaron Carey for Mercedes, And we've got Piotr Jackson, who won one of the races at Singapore for Racing Point. Quasinada moves over into the Alfa Romeo, hoping to improve on last season. WSP, who won the last two events of last season, one in the Racing Point at Zandvoort and the other in AlphaTauri in the season finale in Abu Dhabi. Gino Curry in the other AlphaTauri. Then got B Natinata. Cyclonado for Williams. That's Jim Straub, last night's race winner for Haas in the Division 2 race. Stoke Blake remains at Ferrari. Can he improve? His best result being 5th in a few of the races. He finished in the top 8 in all but the last two races in season 1. Switchback moves over to Racing Point. Erlog fills in at Alfa Romeo, and we have Denmark at Renault. We are expecting Gamer James to also join a little bit later on, hopefully before the race starts. So you have a few drivers out on track at the moment, just on their outlaps so far. And SDQ, we're not quite sure what he's doing there. I know he's trying to get out of the way of the other drivers, but why has he hit the barrier there? I don't understand that. He's wrecked his front wing as well. Hopefully driving standards will be at its best. It is the Division 1 race it is the Division 1 race after all, so there should be no excuses for poor standards. And then who's the first driver to cross over the line to begin a fast lap? It will be Piotr Jackson in the Racing Point. Made only 3 appearances last season. I think had he been there for the whole campaign, he would have most definitely been a championship contender. But he begins his fast lap around the Sakir circuit in Bahrain, using the longer layout, the Grand Prix layout, for this round. Now, on a rundown on where the Division 1, all of the races will be held at. Bahrain tonight, obviously this weekend. Then next weekend it will be Spain. Then on the weekend of the 15th and 16th it will be Azerbaijan. On the 22nd and 23rd it will be Canada. Then the following weekend will be in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. Silverstone on the first weekend of June is round 6. Then it's Spa, Monza, Brazil, Zandvoort, and then the season finale will be in Austin, the USA, on the weekend of the 10th and the 11th, which is the weekend before the release of the Formula 1 2021 game. Really looking forward to that one as well. Back to the action. Piotr Jackson completes Sector 2. He's on a 1 minute 4.4 through there. And by the time he gets over the finish line, he'll set the standards for everyone to beat. Taking a very wide line through there. Keeps the car within the confinements of the racetrack. He's a lot of wheel spin there. Not sure if he's purposely doing that. I wonder if he's doing that so that he can maybe try and start on the medium compound for today's event. He goes on a 30.8. Sarli goes fastest on a 26.7. Denmark on the mediums has gone second on a 28.1. Tuick also close to completing his fast lap. Aaron Carey, debutant in the America F1 Series in the Mercedes. Rear wing open, crossing the line to go fastest on the 26.3. Tuick going over the line for Haas, 28.6 for him, not a bad time. Quasinada out on the track in the Alfa Romeo, goes into the barrier there. He caught the polystyrene as he's just slowed enough in time to avoid the car being terminally damaged. Stobler's gone third fastest for Ferrari on the mediums, 27.4 that is. Quasinada will come back into the pits to get a front wing replacement. Junior Carey's just starting his first flying lap of the session. And running ball with Junior Carey. I think as much as it is a qualifying session, it's a good opportunity for these drivers to get themselves equipped to the machine on a particular racetrack. Some drivers play the game more often than others, and they are advised to try and practice on whatever circuits they are told to race on before. So, yeah, practice them on the circuits before they do race on them prior to the races as they come. Binastinata starting his flying lap. SDQ also in the McLaren. Juninho Curry, 1 minute 6.9 on the medium compound. Juninho Curry crossing the lines at 28.7. It's not a bad lap actually, but he could most definitely find a lot more time than he's found there. Ray, 46 for Red Bull. Rear wing open. It's a 27.1. Puts him up to third with that lap. SDQ is next. He's kept the car within the track limits as well. 1 minute 5.9 in sector 2. It's now 1 minute 27.5 at the end of sector 3. He goes fifth fastest on the medium. So we've seen a lot of drivers setting their first time laps on the medium compound. Binatinata is not one of them. He's on a 1 minute 8 dead through sector 2. Now looking at the point score of last season, and just looking at Binatinata, he got an 8th place finish in Bahrain last season. The season over that was, but that was his best result all season, the only time he's finished in the points. Looks to improve on that this season though. Aaron Carey going fastest on a 26.3. And it's Sali and Ray running out the top 3 there. Ray almost going into the barrier, probably just to get out of the way of the other drivers. Here's SDQ in the McLaren. Probably coming back into the pits, judging by his speed. So we've got drivers on their outlaps at the moment. Piotr Jackson is one of them. Radikon is just about to complete or start a flying lap for himself. Quasinada beginning his first time lap. Well, I say hopefully his first time lap. He did spun earlier, came back into the pits, and has come back out on another fresh set of the mediums. Just about keeps the car within the track limits there. DRS open, coming out of turn 3. And here's the next braking point of turn 4. I think the whole idea in terms of when it comes to doing a lap here is just keeping it smooth. Obviously, you do need to be aggressive on the outlap, but not too much, because it's very easy to light up the rear tyres. And Angel's been disqualified from the session, so he'll start at the back of the grid, no matter where he ends up. He hasn't got a time on the board anyway, so Hopefully we don't see a repeat of that in the race. Quasinada, 1 minute 7.2 through sector 2. His qualifying's been okay, Quasinada, last season, but it was the races that really let him down. Can't really remember one race where he was actually that decent. But coming through with DRS now, over the line, it's a 29.3. Goes ahead of Binatinata, but there's definitely more time to be found from his point of view. Who else have we got out on circuit? Cyclonado's had his lap time invalidated. WSP still within range of going for pole here. It's a 1.4.6. He's got no traffic to deal with, so he shouldn't be impeded from here to the end of the lap. Coming through turns 14 and 15. What time is he going to produce here? He's going to go to provisional pole. It's a 25.9. So provisional pole it is for WSP as Quasinada crashed out, or has exited. He's had an incident on the exit of turn 8 by the looks of it. So that's his qualifying over. He'll start no higher than 11th on the grid, but I reckon he's going to fall down further than that. There will be instructions in terms of driver etiquette, driver standards. Cyclonado, rear wing open on the Williams. He needs to get a time on the board, really. So we've had 6 drivers set a time on the medium so far. Cyclonado could become the 7th, providing he keeps the car within the chat limits. He's on a 1 minute 5 so far. This is not a bad lap from Cyclonado. Not the best we've seen, but respectable nevertheless. Cyclonado going over the line. 6th fastest for him. That's a good lap. Not a bad effort by any... Not a bad lap by any means. SDQ is also on the lap in the McLaren. He set his earlier time on the mediums. Georgie Jackson also out on track. He's made a mistake somewhere, so not going to be improving his lap on this occasion. Sarli in 5th place for the Renault. Showing some good pace so far. SDQ 4/10 up from his previous best in sector 2, so he's most definitely on for a good lap here. And someone's gone off at turn 4. It's one of the Williams drivers who's gone off there, and it's Cyclonado. Now, not sure what's happened. I wonder if he's deliberately crashed through there. So I think there needs to be the owner will need to address the rule book out to everyone in terms of deliberately crashing, because we don't put up with drivers intentionally crashing in most leagues anyway. SDQ crossed the line to post a 27.1 for McLaren, which puts him 8th. Juninho Curry resets back onto the racetrack. In qualifying, he may be able to get away with it, but not so in the race. Gaiman James has finally joined. He's racing for Ferrari this season. Sarli, quicker than before, through sector 2 by nearly a 10th. Can he find any time through sector 3 and go ahead of his teammate, Denmark? It's a better time, but he stays 5th fastest. Ray not taking the best line really through turn 8. SDQ will be coming back into the pits at the end of this lap, I would think. Ray coming round. Don't think he's going to be quicker than before at this with the pace he's setting. He's 2.8 seconds down, so he won't be improving on this lap. Juninho Curry in the AlphaTauri. He's not got his DRS open. I don't know why he's not using the DRS. Binattinata in the Haas. He's posted a 29.3 earlier on. He's already a second up through sector 1. So this is a great improvement so far. He just needs to make sure he gets the car turned into the corners nicely, which he does so through turns 9 and 10. DRS open. He probably took a bit too much curb on the outside. We're right on board with him. Piorgi Jackson has retired from the session, so he'll start no higher than second place on the grid. Now, Binattinata, it'll be a 1 minute 5 through, or 1 minute 6 through sector 2. He's 1.8 seconds up from his previous time at this point of the lap. So he could well be in the low 1 minute 27s, possibly high 1 minute 26s. Got the car turning nicely through turns 14 and 15. And it's going to be a 1 minute 27.9. So he lost a little bit of time in sector 3, but he goes 10th fastest. That's not a bad lap. Switchback is beginning his latest lap on the medium compound. Denmark is also on a fast lap in the Renault. Let's see what his sector 1 time is like. It's nearly a 10th up, so he's definitely on a quicker lap than before. Switchback is also on a fast lap, and Juninho Curry has had his time invalidated. So at the moment we've only got Denmark and Juninho on fast laps at the moment. Denmark coming through turn 10. Doesn't use too much curb on the outside, gets the rear wing open. And down the straight he goes with the extra straight line speed. Turn 11, nicely done through there. Then a smooth right-hander of turn 12. Then time your braking and your steering point for turn 13, which is not too bad, not too shabby. Gone purple through sector 2. Doesn't mean to say that he's going to be on the faster. It's probably a faster that he had done previously. I think he's going to be in a low 26 here, is Denmark. Let's have a look. It is a low 26. It's a 26.1, which puts him second at the moment anyway. Switchback in the racing point. Coming through. DRS open on the start finish straight. Goes up to 9th place on the medium compound. Good luck from him. Here is Stobloke in the Ferrari. He's over nearly 2 tenths down from his previous best. Can he find any time in the remainder of the lap? We've got less than a minute to go. Man, this qualifying's flying by, hasn't it? Stobloke coming over the line. Well, I say he's coming over the line. He's coming into the pits, so he'll start 10th, no higher. Radicon on a fast lap. I think Gamer James, well, he says he's on a time to complete a 5-minute lap, actually, so Gamer James, which is not going to be anywhere near a representative one. But Radicon is on what is expected to be his only flying lap. For Mercedes, 1 minute 5.7. It's some way off the fastest time set by WSP. I think the highest we're probably looking at is around 5th or 6th here for Radicon. Can they get the car turned in, rotate the car nicely through the last corner? DRS open, and it's a 27.4, which puts him only 10th. Really disappointing there for Radicon. Jim Strava and Elliot will start at the back of the grid. Who else is on fast laps? SDQ faster than before at the moment. Ray 46 has run wide. He'll lose time there, so that's his lap over. We'll go back to Gamer James then, because he finished 4th in the driver's standings. Picked to 3rd by Switchback. He did pick up a win earlier this season, last season, but he's overcooked it. So Gamer James will start 16th on the grid for Ferrari. So if you were to exclude Ben McEwen, all the championship contenders are not in the top 8. So WSP is on pole position for the first race of the new season. Aaron Carey in second, followed by Denmark. Pjorgi Jackson will start in fourth place for Racing Point. So we could be in for a tasty Bahrain Grand Prix in a few moments' time. So rundown on the grid. SDQ is on pole ahead of WSP. Now that was a surprise with SDQ's time. He was able to get that in. Aaron Carey, third place on the grid. Denmark, fourth. Pjorgi Jackson, fifth. Sarli, sixth. Cyclonado, seventh ahead of Ray. Switchback and Radicon make up row 4. Stowbloke, Beanatanata on row 6. Tilwick and Juninho on row 7. Quasinado and Gamer James will start on row 8. Gamer James didn't set a time, neither did Jim Straff. Ella is 18th. Angel was disqualified from the session. He didn't set a time, so he'll start 19th. But what a brilliant lap from SDQ. I do remember he was quickest. He posted a really quick time in set to 1 and got it all hooked up for the remainder of the lap. But remember, SDQ did set a time, or his best time, on the medium compound. So it is going to be a night race. For the Bahrain Grand Prix. We have 19 drivers for the opening race of the season. If you've joined us, welcome. We're interested to get your thoughts and join in the conversation. Just waiting for the drivers to complete the race and fuel strategies for the 29 lap event here in Sakhir. The first race of Season 2 in the America F1 Series. So who will come away victorious? Now remember, WSP won the last 2 races of Season 1. Can he carry that form into Season 2 and be involved in the championship full time as well? If he does that, he's got a good chance of becoming champion. So the drivers go off on their formation lap. We'll have to see who is starting on what tyres. So everyone, apart from SDQ, Aaron Carey, Denmark, Sarli and Ray, are starting on the mediums. The 5 drivers I've just mentioned are all starting on softs. Really looking forward to this, actually. Drivers, in terms of pace, mixed. Hopefully driving standards will still be acceptable, satisfactory, not just for me, but for those who are viewing. Sarli saying, here we go, I'm so hyped. I couldn't agree with you more. I bet you are looking forward to this, Sarli. Do hope to see you on the podium in this one. You can see the predicted pit stop strategy. So those starting on the softs, looking at lap 7 to 9, and then going another set of the soft compound, and then the medium for the last stint. So can SDQ start the season in the best way possible? Or can WSP take his 3rd victory in a row? Last season, Ben McEwen won a total of 4 races to take the title. Sadly, he's not in it this season, which is a shame, because we'd love to have seen him get involved in this. But nevertheless, we are still going to be in for a brilliant championship battle between those in the Division 1 category. Last night, Jim Strav won the Division 2 race. Very well done to him. Can he replicate that into Division 1 here this evening? He's got a lot of work to do from 17th on the grid. But if he can get inside the top 10 come the end of the race, I'm sure that wouldn't be a bad night's work. So we're just waiting for the last cars to take up their positions for the race. And any second, we'll see those all-important 5 red lights. So this is it. The red lights should be coming on now. Not exactly sure how long it's going to take. Could be a connection issue. But we should be waiting for those lights to be coming on very, very shortly. They should be coming on now, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Season 2 of the America F1 Series begins. Lights out, and away we go. And WSP gets off the start line very, very well. He's in front of SDQ before turn 1. There's debris at the back. Looks like one of the Haas drivers has lost a bit of debris. It might be in a racing point. But either way, WSP takes the lead from the McLaren of DSQ. There's Aaron Carey who moves up into second place. Denmark third. SDQ's dropping back all the time at the moment. Cyclonado is up a few positions to fourth place. Then we've got the McLaren who tips round the Williams. SDQ surely must pick up a penalty for that. I was really, really clumsy there. Not sure who else has got involved. It looks like all the other drivers has got away with it there. But that's a really bad news there. Natty's got damage to his Haas. But WSP is in front. There's Denmark. SDQ's third. Piorgi Jackson's fourth, ahead of Ray, Stokebloke, Radicon, Janino up to 8th from 14th or 15th place on the grid. It's Gamer James up from 16th to 9th. Brilliant stuff from him. Cyclonado's in 10th place after that spin. Aaron Carey also in 11th place. He lost ground actually through turn 4. And we got Starley at the back. I'm not sure what's happened to him. He must have spun at the exit of turn 8, hence why he's dropped back. But WSP continues to lead on the medium compound, so he's in a good state for between now and the end of the race. Denmark in second place for Renault. Next SDQ. Then Piorgi Jackson, who's won a race in Singapore last season. Shouldn't be too long before we see him in contention for the race victory. And I wonder how many drivers we expect to be coming into the pits for damage repair. You can see Piorgi Jackson pulling alongside Denmark to go up into third place. I wonder if we've lost connection actually with Denmark, hence why his car has been controlled by the AI. We've got 3 cars in the pits. Quasinada, or save 3 cars in the pits. We've got Starley coming in for a change of front wing, as is Aaron Carey. So bad news for those guys. And the leader was just glitching at the moment. But WSP is leading the race. SDQ is second. Then it's Jackson third for Racing Point. Denmark in fourth place for Renault, followed by Ray in fifth. And then Stokebloke, we should expect him to... Oh, and Ray goes wide at turn 10, and that opens the door for Stokebloke to get past. Radicon gets by as well. Radicon steadily making his way through the field. He's got a lot of ground to make up if he's going to have any hope of winning this race, actually. Denmark will go up to 7th very, very shortly, or maybe 6th, actually, once the leaderboard does update itself properly, which it does now. There we go, look. So WSP leading, SDQ in second. Got a spinner at the back. It looks like Ray has continued to struggle with the damage he's got at the moment. I wonder if he's got a puncher, actually. But Piorgi Jackson with the fastest lap now. And it looks like WSP's lost connection by the looks of it. Although he may... Yeah, he's lost connection to the lobby at the moment. Hopefully he'll come back any moment soon. But SDQ's back into the lead now. Jackson in second place for Racing Point. And Stokebloke in fourth place on the road at the moment. Radicon fifth ahead of Cyclonado. Gamer James in seventh. Continuing to make his way through the field. Ray in the pits for a front wing replacement. He'll fall to the back. And Cyclonado all over the back of Radicon at the moment here. Cyclonado pulling alongside as they come into turn 11. And that's 5th place for the Williams driver. Brilliant move down the inside there. And we've got a safety car because Angel LV07 has crashed out on the exit of turn 8. Now we're just riding on board with Aaron Carey, and just look at how Angel retired, actually. I wonder if he's just hit the barrier on the outside. In fact, the car's just removed from it, and Aaron Carey's been given a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. It's a costly error for him there. He'll have to take that once the safety car does come back into the pits. And now it's good news for those who have either started on the softs or those who are currently at the back of the field, because that way they can change strategy. And SDQ going onto the medium compound. Denmark also in for Renault. And WSP is back in play now. Seems to have got himself back into the lobby. Stoke Bloke in third place, Cyclonario 4th, Radicon 5th, Gamer James 6th. Janino, Jim Strav, Quasinada, Tilwick, Elog, SDQ in 12th. Denmark will rejoin in 13th place. Switchback also in for Racing Point, going on another set of the medium compound. And Aaron Carey may be able to get in front of him, he's quick enough, but no, Switchback is there. In fact, Sally's trying to get past the Mercedes, but he's under safety car conditions, so he can't overtake. At that point, Binatanata and Ray will be catching up as well. So Jackson has caught up to the safety car. Past turn 10 it goes. So let's have a look at those who've stopped so far. Now we've got two drivers who will be serving drive-through penalties after the safety car period. Janino is one of them. Aaron Carey, as I've already mentioned, is the other. So the drivers who have stopped so far in this race are those from SDQ in 12th, right all the way down to Ray in 18th. The top 11 have not stopped yet. So can Jackson maintain the lead once the safety car does come back in? Now looking at the field, Denmark has gone onto the hard tyre. So they'll be going for a long second stint. How long will it be is another thing. I would think he's going to try and do maybe 18 laps on those, and then go on to the into a sort of a set of the soft compound for the last stint. We can see Aaron Carey coming into the pits in the Mercedes. He's going to go onto a set of the hard compound, so he's going to try and go to possibly the end, but he's going to have to manage those tyres very, very well, because in terms of the track characteristics, the Bahrain International Circuit is one of the most abrasive circuits on the calendar. So PLG Jackson in front. WSP back in play, thankfully. That's just good to see. Now I'm just looking to see who is being controlled by the AI at the moment. Elog looks as though his car is controlled by the AI. Ray's car is controlled by the AI. A lot of work to do at the moment. Oh, and PRG Jackson spun. Now I'm not sure what's happened, but PRG Jackson has spun behind the safety car and he's trying to reclaim the positions. Now, I'm not so sure you're allowed to do that. He's just overtaken two cars whilst under the safety. Yeah, ignoring yellow flags. So PRG Jackson, through the embarrassment of himself, has got damage to his front wing and a 5-second time penalty for overtaking under the safety car. So all that has allowed WSP to lead the field on the restart, and he goes now. So WSP leads the field at the end of lap 5, and we've got a battle for second place because Cyclonado is alongside the Ferrari of Stoke Bloke, And down to turn 1 they go. Stokeblake will have the inside line, but Cyclonado goes round the outside and moves up into second position. So Cyclonado on his America F1 Series debut is in second place. Radicon goes up to third for Mercedes. Then we've got Gamer James up to what looks like fourth position now, round the outside of Stokebloke, and Gamer James moves up to fourth place now. Janino Curry, who has a drive-through penalty that he needs to serve, will be coming in to serve that very, very soon. Pyorji Jackson in the pits for Racing Point. He's back on the circuit now. I think he's served that penalty actually before the mechanics went to work on him. So he's on his way again. Aaron Carey getting past the Haas cars. Pyorji Jackson all the way down at the back. Janino Carey, and got cars all over the track at the moment. SDQ and Denmark trying to get past the Alfa Romeo of Quasinada for 8th and 9th. SDQ on the fresher tyres, although Denmark is on the harder compound. He's going to be going further than a lot of these guys, so we could well see. And Quasinada spins! Now he avoids contact with another driver and luckily gets away with it, but he's got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Now he may have a case on that later on, but that was so nearly a catastrophic error from Quasinada, pushing way too hard on the restart, and that's cost him dearly. WSP with a new fastest lap for AlphaTauri. And we've got Elog and Ray going toe-to-toe, being controlled by the AI at the moment. Aaron Carey is in for his drive-through penalty. He's probably going to have to hope for another safety car at some point. But WSP still continues to lead the way. Benatinista gets a 3-second time penalty added. Cyclonado in second place. Radicon third. Stokeblade in fourth place. He managed to get back ahead of his teammate. And then we've got Jim Strav, who won last night's Division 2 race in 6th position. Janino in 7th as well. So Janino looking to make a move on Jim Strav, but Jim Strav and SDQ have got by him, and SDQ moves up into 7th place. Denmark looking to pounce as well on his hard compound. Now Janino will need to take his drive-through penalty at the end either at the end of this lap or at the end of the next one. SWSP with a new fastest lap, 1:29.7. Janino in to serve that drive-through. Will fall way down the order. So WSP still leads. Cyclonado in second. Now, those who have started on the mediums will be looking to go on a one-stop strategy here, put the hard tyres on, and go to the end. Cyclonado in second still, dropping back a little bit from WSP. WSP continuing to eke out, I think, 3/10 on this lap actually. Radicon in third place, he's in a more familiar position at the moment, as is Gamer James. Jim Strav doing very well in 6th. What's happening further down the field at the moment? I think the cars are relatively being spaced out at the moment. Benatinasa is going to go by Elog and Ray, who are being controlled by the AI still. So it's going to be a slam dunk change of position there. And the change of position there as Benatinasa does get by Elog and Ray. Tilwick should follow suit. And we've got a change of position here as Jackson gets by the AlphaTauri of Juninho to go back up into 17th place. He's got a mountain to climb. Is he to have any hope of picking up any points today? Jim Strav in 6th position at the moment. SDQ 7th. Sarli in 8th. Denmark 9th. Switchback is in 10th place, making steady progress through the field since pitting for the medium compound. Oh, and is that Denmark who's had a moment? I think it is, yeah. He's dropped behind his teammates, so Denmark losing time by spinning, and that's allowing Switchback to pull alongside. So they come into the penultimate turn. Switchback goes to the inside, over the curbs, but Denmark has more momentum on the exit to keep hold of 9th position. Although Switchback with DRS is going to pull alongside, uses a bit of grass there, perhaps too much grass. Goes up into 9th place. Quasinado getting a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. DRSP continuing to, well, I say bridge out the gap. The gap is sort of stagnating at the moment. Radicon is dropping back from Cyclonado. James in 4th, ahead of his teammate now, but can he keep hold of that 4th position? Ray moving ahead of Elog. We've got an incident in sector 2. SDQ has spun. Not sure what's happened, but SDQ has spun in the McLaren and he's dropped down to 10th place. No, it looks like he's lost 3 or 4 positions through that. Cyclonado looking to close in on WSP ahead. Having a very, very good race so far. Although he did make contact in the opening lap with the likes of Aaron Carey and STQ. Jim Strav closing in on the Ferrari of Stokebloke. Sarli in 7th place, switchback. He needs to go defensive here because Denmark on the hard tyres. Probably has better tyres at this stage, you know. Denmark going to the inside of the racing point, but switchback keeps it covered and keeps hold of his position. In sector 2, one of the Ferraris has gone for a spin. It's Gamer James. So if all the drivers to spin, Gamer James has lost it. He gets going again, but he's fallen down to 9th position. Perhaps taking a bit too much curb through that section of turn 7. And he's dropped down from 4th to 9th. Really bad news there for Gamer James. And another car's gone for a spin. SDQ's lost it. Resets back onto the track. Now that is against the rules. SDQ's not allowed to reset back onto the racetrack. I'm sure the race stewards are going to have a look at that because there is a rule where you're not supposed to reset your car back onto the racetrack. Sarconado is coming into the pits at the end of the lap. And looks like Gamer James has spun again, this time at turn 13. He's having a nightmare of a lap. Cyclonado in the pits though for Williams. He'll most certainly go on to the hard compound. Radicon also in. And he's out on his way. SDQ will be... Well, I was going to say Cyclonado is behind SDQ. Radicon will be behind Tilwick, I should think. And he's also behind the... Someone's going to say the Alfa Romeo Veloz, but Radicon's rejoined ahead of him, which is crucial actually. Georgie Jackson ahead of B Nutty Nutter for 14th. Gamer James in the pits for Ferrari. Comes back out again. He's not having a good start to the season, is Gamer James. And he's lost it. Gamer James has lost it again. What is going on with Gamer James today? I'm sure has he picked up damage on his front wing, I wonder? Maybe not. But he's having a nightmare. But WSP continuing to stay out. Cyclonado getting by SDQ on his outlet. And he's got a clear track ahead of him now. And SDQ, you going off the track there. Now he's got to be careful not to be exceeding track limits by doing that. Carrying way too much speed there into turn 14. I mean, if there was any advice I could possibly give to some of these drivers, it's more about being smooth in order to be fast, not fast to be smooth. I know there's some that practice more than others, but there are drivers out there who just need to practice more often if they want to be as good as the likes of WSP, Pyoji Jackson and co. Switch back in 6th position. Denmark in 5th place. I think Denmark may take the lead here once the top 4 do pit. He won't be far in front. But he will. I would think he's going to be pitting again before the end. Unless he's brave enough to fend off the likes of WSP, Jim Strav and those behind him. Cyclonado continuing to make up ground though on his hard compound. He's got a great chance to win this race actually. As you can see, drivers coming in. WSP is one of them. He's just completed his start. Where's Cyclonado? There he is. WSP gets out just in front of Cyclonado as they enter turn 1. So Cyclonado leads for the time being, although Cyclonado on his hard compound will have tyres that are more up to temperature than the AlphaTauri. Down into turn 4. WSP has the line covered. Cyclonado stays behind. Denmark takes the lead on the road. But how long will it be before Cyclonado gets in front? So providing he stays within a second of WSP, he could snatch the lead here all of a sudden. Radicon, I think his target will be to finish 3rd at the moment. Pyoji Jackson continuing to fight his way through the traffic. He's up to 9th now. Can he take those hard tyres to the end? SDQ running wide again at turn 10. Cyclonado in 4th position. Now the AlphaTauri and the Williams are closing on those who are expected to stop again, and someone else has gone for a spin. It's Gamer James. He's had a really shocking race tonight. That's so unlike him. And Switchback coming into the pits. Doesn't bother to defend the position. SDQ getting a time penalty for multiple warnings. That'll be for exceeding track limits. And Juninho has spun for AlphaTauri. Gets going again. But here's WSP. Will Denmark choose to go defensive? He will. Forces the AlphaTauri go to the outside, and what a brilliant move from WSP to put his AlphaTauri back into the lead. Brilliant stuff. Denmark, it was going to be hard for Denmark to fend that off actually, but nevertheless, what a brilliant move around the outside. I didn't expect WSP to have that much grip coming into the corner. And he was going to be on the quicker tyres, but still. Sweet as you like. So everyone has pitted in, although Gamer James has retired, so Gamer James calls it quits. He was out of the points anyway. He wasn't going to salvage anything from this one. So one of last season's championship contenders is not going to score tonight. Already on the back foot is Gaber James. Really poor start to the season. And Cyclonado's also got by Denmark. So it's going to be very much a battle between these two, between now and the checkered flag. And we've got 14 laps to go here in Sakir. And someone else has gone for a spin. Looks like, is it one of the Hasses has gone for a spin, and may have been Tilwick who's had a moment. Bosnada getting another 3 seconds added in terms of time penalty. Let's go back to the battle for what looks like 4th position, because Aaron Carey, who had served his drive-through penalty after the safety car, he's worked his way up to 7th position. Now he's been on those tyres for 10 laps as Juninho picks up another 3 seconds worth of time penalty. Aaron Carey all over the back of Jim Strav, who I believe may have just got past him actually, unless it's the other way round. But Aaron Carey looking to get by the McLaren driver on his older set of hards to put himself back into a position for some good points here today. Stoke bloke in 9th place. He's not had a bad race this time around. He could be on course for his best result of the season, but he's going to need to pass some cars if he wants to get up into like a top 4 position. He hasn't finished higher than 5th in the America F1 Series. Could tonight be another one of those nights where he does finish higher than 5th. We believe Denmark will be pitting again, SDQ likewise. So it's potentially a net 7th position for Stoke bloke, although he will be on better tyres than Jackson and Aaron Carey. Aaron Carey, Jim Strav right in front of him. No change of position there. Saleh looking to get in front of Stoke bloke on this lap. Switch back in 11th place. He's had a mediocre drive, to be honest with you. I didn't expect him to be that far down. SDQ, who's carrying the time penalty so far, 3 seconds. So everyone apart from SDQ in the top 10 do not have time penalties, which is good to see. So Aaron Carey, he needs to get onto the gearbox of Jim Strav to get past him on the road. So we're coming on to the beginning of lap 18 for these drivers. Aaron Carey will have to go defensive as Jackson is within the slipstream. Juninho has crashed out on the exit of turn 8. That's his race run. Go back to the battle for 7th here because Aaron Carey's got a poor exit out of turn 1. He has DRS like PLG Jackson, but Jackson will have more momentum to pull alongside and go through. And someone else has had a spin. It's the McLaren. SDQ has spun. I wonder if he's reset the car back onto the track again. Now this is something that needs to be addressed really, because resetting back on the track is cheating. It's absolutely cheating. And Jackson goes into the rear of SDQ. Vadicon in 4th place. Seems to close in on Denmark. Jim Strav moving in front of... and Jackson nearly losing it on the exit of turn 10 as Aaron Carey goes to the outside of SDQ and moves up into 6th place. And SDQ has gone into the Bahrain. He's lost it. Oh, he's reset back onto the track again. Oh. I mean, in other leagues, that would be a disqualification. and that's just from one reset, and he's reset back onto the track 3 times. So Aaron Carey in 6th place. Jim Strav looking to go to the end. Can Aaron Carey keep hold of 6th place? Jackson's still behind him. At least I don't have to worry about SDQ. 1.6 seconds separate the lead between WSP and Cyclonado. Quasnado moving in front of SDQ, who comes into the pits for a fresh set of tyres and comes back out in 12th place. So coming through the last corner now, or the last 2 corners I should say. WSP coming onto the straight. 1.8 seconds in front of Cyclonado. Will Denmark choose to go to the end? Well, if he wants to finish on the podium, I think he's going to have to go to the end. He's got a 7.5 second margin over Radicon, so he doesn't need to be pushing too hard. Although Radicon's tyres are 9 laps older than Denmark, so it might be 8 laps older actually. Yeah, it's 8 laps old, 8 laps younger I should say, than Denmark's. WSP still continuing to keep hold of the lead, on course for his 3rd victory in a row in the America F1 Series. And one of the Haas drivers has gone for a spin. It's Tilwick, who's now spun. And Jackson has now got a time penalty for exceeding track limits too many times. He's under pressure from Sarli, who is beginning to make a recovery after a moment earlier on in the race. Tilwick is in the pits for Haas. So Denmark in 3rd place. Looking comfortably. It's a 7.5 second margin over Radicon. We've got Carey, who's closing in on Strav on tyres that are 9 laps older than Strav. So this is great pace actually from Carey, considering he's having to be fending off the other drivers. And Denmark's in. So Denmark is in for a fresh set of tyres. He's going for the soft compound. Now, he's got 9 laps to do on those. He will rejoin, likely to be in 10th place behind Switchback. So yeah, he's still in the points. He's oh, someone's had a spin. It's Carey's spun. No, he's reset back. I'm sure he's reset back onto the track as well. This is something that needs to be addressed here, because he's picked up. Now he's picked up damage, but you're not allowed to reset your car back onto the track. And this is something that will need to be addressed to the stewards, because resetting back on the track would normally count as a disqualification from the event. And there's at least 2 drivers that I know that have reset their car back onto the track after their spin. Sarli's got himself in front of Pure-G Jackson as well through all that. So he's up to 5th place. Strav in a comfortable 4th with Denmark pitting. But I don't think it'll be too long before Denmark steams his way back through the field. And oh, there's a mistake there from Carey, and that's going to allow Switchback to go alongside and go through, and Denmark follows suit. Although Carey's carrying damage with that broken front wing, so he's going to have to come into the pits. He has taken those tyres to as far as, you know, he's done 16 laps on those. He's going to fall out of the points. Is Carey with all that? He did serve a drive-through penalty, and his race has gone from bad to worse through all this. Denmark pulling alongside Switchback, and up to 8th place he goes, and someone else has had a spin. It's the leader. WSP has spun. on the exit of turn 7, and Cyclonado is into the lead. Now, we didn't pick up on the spin, but what we do know is that Cyclonado has got himself in front of WSP. That's a really bad error from the AlphaTauri driver, who's lost it. And he's broken his front wing as well. That's a really, really costly error, and Cyclonado, through the rarest of mistakes from WSP, is into the lead. Now, if WSP was to come into the pits, he would lose second. But on the fresher tyres, he can make up ground on Radicon again. I think he is going to come in, yeah. I think he may as well. And do the final 7 laps on a set of the soft compound. Radicon will go up to second place. Jim Strav should go up to third, but it's not going to be long before WSP gets onto the gearbox of those guys. So yeah, Radicon up to second, Jim Strav third, Sarli will move up to fourth, Jackson fifth, Stokeblow will be in sixth, and Denmark should go up to seventh. Denmark setting a new fastest lap as well. And I think Switchback is going to get by WSP as well. So WSP, through all that, is down to 9th place after dominating this race. Now, how quick can WSP dispose of these slower cars? And he's got Switchback up first. And someone else has spun. It looks like Quasinado's had a moment. Oh, he's reversing. That's so stupid. That is really, really, really unnecessary. What on earth was he thinking? And Cyclonado's got a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. And someone else has gone for... And yeah, Quasinado's been disqualified from the race anyway. But that is so, so needless. I think the stewards are going to be very, very busy post-race. Meanwhile, WSP's got by Switchback. Up into 8th place he goes. Next up is Denmark, but Denmark's also on the soft compound tyres, who's powering his way through the field. He's behind Stokebloke, who's behind Jackson and Sarli, as you can see in your picture. Jackson, can he pull alongside Sarli? The answer is no. Sarli's had a good race, actually. So has Jim Strav. Now, with Cyclonado's time penalty, that would not be anywhere near seeing him lose the race win, unless he made a catastrophic mistake. I want to go to the battle for 4th place, because we've got potentially 5 drivers, or maybe 6, if you want to count Switchback in there, who could finish in a top 4 position. Jim Strav looking very, very good for a podium place. Georgie Jackson turning into turn 10. Oh, he got a kick of oversteer as he got on the power. That's losing crucial ground to the Renault in front. And we can just see Stokebloke falling back into the clutches of Denmark, who's on the quicker tyres at this stage. You can see Stoke conserving energy, hence why you can see a flashing red light on the rear of his vehicle. Can Denmark get a good exit? Locks up the front right a little bit. He should have enough momentum to pull alongside with DRS and take 6th position from the Ferrari. Now, can he carry that momentum down into turn 1 by passing Jackson? Too far back there. That would have been far too risky to do it from there. And Jim Strav, I think, has made a mistake somewhere. In fact, he's disconnected. Now, Jim Strav has got to do everything he can to get back into the action here. And Sarli goes up to 3rd position. Jackson will go up to 4th. Denmark will go up to 5th. And Stokebloke and WSP. WSP going to the inside of the Ferrari. 7th place he goes, which will become 6th once he gets by the AI-controlled McLaren of Jim Straub. That's such a shame. That's a real shame for Jim Straub. And WSP. Now it's a safety bet. Denmark. Can he pull alongside Pjorgi Jackson? Not from there. Too risky. Sarli goes wide in front. That's going to allow Jackson and Denmark to close in. Denmark going to the inside as they head into turn 13. And Denmark's done it. Goes to the inside. SDQ gets a time penalty. And WSP looks as though he's going to complete the switchback on the pair of them. What a brilliant overtaking manoeuvre from WSP to recover back up into 4th place. But the only problem he's got is not... Well, I say he's not going to have DRS. He's going to have DRS because Sarli's in front of him. So WSP is going to put his AlphaTauri back up into 3rd place. Brilliant drive. Brilliant recovery in a space of a few laps. Now that's the difference of putting a fresh set of boots on. Now WSP is 6 seconds behind Radicon with 4 laps remaining. And SDQ's out. SDQ has crashed out on the exit. And we've got a safety car. We've got a safety car with 4 laps to go in this race. Kerry comes into the pits. And now I can imagine he's going to go on a fresh set of what looks like mediums he's got ready for him. Now, this is really bad news for Cyclonado because he's carrying a time penalty. He's carrying an enormous time penalty. Now, if I was him, I would highly consider pitting in this lap to get a set of soft tyres on. But he's coming in now. See how he is going to take the advice I've just mentioned. So he's coming into the pits. There's no one else in there, so he shouldn't be held up by anyone. Safety car is waiting to pick up the field. It should be Cyclonado once he makes his stop here. Out he goes on a brand new set of the soft compound. But even though he does catch up to the safety car, he's going to be vulnerable to those behind because he's carrying in that time penalty. And he's got a back marker behind him. That's Tilwick. No, Cyclonado has caught up to the safety car. WSP will close back up to him. This is great news for him. Sarli is in 3rd. He decides to stay out on his hard compound tyres. Denmark likewise. Switchback also stays out. Jim Straub is also not pitting. Radicon has done. Jackson likewise. Stokeblake has also been in. This is a good opportunity for those who weren't expecting to maybe finish in the points today. Are now in a really strong position to do so. Now I wondered when the safety car will come back in, because what we do know for certain is that we're not going to see DRS. Because by the time the safety car would come in this lap, we'd only have 2 laps remaining. And there's no DRS for the first 2 laps of a safety car restart. Oh, bad news. WSP's been given a time penalty for running into the rear of Sarli. Oh, he's been involved in the collision with Sarli, so that's a real dent, is that? So, should they get through the field? Now, the only problem is Tilwick will need to move out of the way to let the leaders through. And the safety car will come in at the end of this lap. So 1 lap behind the safety car. Cyclonado will control the pace. He needs to pull clear of the others, actually. He's going to be on fresher tyres than most of the others on the restart. The only way, I think the one he needs to worry about is possibly Radicon. And Jim Straub's been overtaken, actually. Now, I'm sure that's not allowed in the within the rules. Now, when will Cyclonado go for it? He's gone for it now, and that's a great restart from him. So needs to pull out a big enough margin over Sarli and Denmark to win this race. But we can see Sarli, who's going to pull alongside WSP, round the outside into turn 1. Sarli stays behind the AlphaTauri, but he's got his teammate to worry about as well. Pjorgi Jackson is in 5th place for the Racing Point team, ahead of Radicon. So those two are making progress, and Sarli's lost it. Sarli's lost it coming out of turn 3 by the looks of it. Jackson's moving alongside to take 4th place. And surely the Mercedes of Radicon's going to be alongside as they go into turn 5, or 6 I should say. Radicon on the better tyres. Can't make the move stick, and Jackson's move ahead of Denmark into 3rd place. So Jackson on the quicker tyres. He is carrying a time penalty as well. We'll keep the time penalties active actually, because we'll keep the time penalties on the graphic. So as it stands through all this, I think that Cyclonado would still win the race. We've still got another lap to go, so it could all change. Radicon in 5th place, Jackson in 3rd, WSP in 2nd. As it stands, he would drop behind. He wouldn't drop behind PRG Jackson, but he would lose places to Denmark, Radicon, and possibly Sarli. Cyclonado setting the new fastest lap. We're now on the last lap of this Bahrain Grand Prix. It's been an interesting race actually, especially with the safety car spicing up again, and Soplo gets past Switchback and puts his Ferrari up into 7th. Switchback trying to fight back, but Stokebloke has it covered. Jim Strav in 9th place. He's controlled by the AI at the moment. Kerry on course for a point in 10th. At least it's something he can take away from this race. Radicon has got past Denmark up into 4th down at turn 4. So he's continuing his fight back. I think he's going to run out of time to make amends on Jackson. He will finish ahead of him, and he'll finish ahead of WSP with the time penalties applied, but I don't think he's going to win this one. It's now Stokebloke right behind Sarli. He's continuing to struggle on the hard compound. No DRS for the remainder of this race now, so if drivers are going to make overtakes, they'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Stokebloke staying behind the Renault Sarli. And Denmark's got a time penalty now. That's costly for him. We'll have a look at the time penalties once they're added. But Cyclonado, round in the last 2 turns in the Williams, is going to take victory in his maiden outing in the America F1 Series. Cyclonado wins the Bahrain Grand Prix and sets the new fastest lap as well. Piotr Jackson comes home, I believe, in 2nd place, but no, it's Radicon who finishes 2nd with the time penalty applied. Jackson is 3rd, Sarli 4th, Stokebloke 5th, Switchback 6th, and WSP with that 5-second time penalty following the collision with Sarli under the safety car is down to 8th place, would you believe it? Jim Strav has finished 7th, WSP 8th, Denmark 9th, Carey in 10th place. In fact, Carey's been classified as 8th at the moment, WSP down to 9th, Denmark 10th. Binati will be 11th ahead of Ray, Elog 13th, Tilwick in 14th. We'll have a look at the classification after the podium celebrations, but that was a really, really weird end to the Bahrain Grand Prix. Sal is saying in the chat, saying it will be removed, it's my fault. Well, that's something that the stewards will have to deal with. There'll have to be evidence provided, which I can imagine will be provided. I'm sure the stewards will have a look at it and make their own decision later on. But a brilliant victory for Cyclonado in the Williams ahead of Radicon and Jackson. So a rundown on the Division 1 race, the Bahrain Grand Prix for the American F1 Series. Cyclonado wins, Radicon in 2nd place, Jackson in 3rd, Sarli 4th, Stokebloke 5th, Switchback in 6th place, Jim Strav in 7th, but he could have so easily have been a podium for him. Kerry in 8th, WSP in 9th, Binati 10th place in the Haas. Denmark was 11th, followed by Ray. Then it's Elog in 13th, ahead of Tilwick. SDQ, Janino, Gamer Janes, Angel, and Quasinada did not finish. All of that is unofficial at the moment, so there could well be some post-race penalties, or there could be some penalties being removed. So keep yourself right up to date with the championship standings, which you can find out on the America F1 Series Instagram account. That is all for tonight. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to do it all again next weekend. The next round of the championship will be in Barcelona, Spain, on the weekend of the 8th and 9th of May, 9:30 British Summer Time. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the America F1 Series returns.